Silva minus 300. Diego Lopez plus 205. Okay, what do you guys make of these? I mean, these are some very interesting odds. Negative 300 to plus 205. These are very interesting odds. And how sure are you that you know the outcome of the fight? Right? I mean, that's largely what DraftKings is saying. They're largely saying that they know the outcome of this fight. Diego Lopez was unstoppable. He was on fire. He was beating guys up. He's beating guys up on short notice. He's beating up new opponents. He's beating up new opponents in different weight classes on short notice. Diego Lopez was supposed to go out and win the world championship. He was actually favored to do that. And everything I just told you, it's how I saw it as well. I predicted him to beat Volk. I thought that Volk was on a little bit of a down, but these odds make it seem as though they believe that Diego is on a little bit of a down. And I'm wondering how we got there. With what evidence do we have? And we got one shiny, bright answer, right? This kid in the corner is jumping up and down, waving his hand, and I'm going to call on him, and a young man, and he's going to tell me, Chael, Diego just lost. Diego got controlled. Diego got dominated. Diego wasn't faster than Volk. He wasn't more powerful than Volk. The lights got too bright. I love that topic, though. I love that topic because there's an absolute truth to it. But it doesn't happen twice. You will find guys in main event, 5-round contest, standing across from a huge branded legend of a star, and they will wilt. That moment just gets too much. They looked up to that guy at one point, and they don't see themselves in that same company at one point. And you could go down the list and you could identify them. I'm aware of that. But you couldn't go down that list and identify the same person where that's happened to them twice. That's one of the keys. That is probably the key that changes everything. So when you have someone like Lopez, if you're resisting the lights are too bright, and I am resisting that, then all of a sudden the other side of that coin is a positivity from the experience that he had being put in the vicarious position, which was standing across from Volkanovski, somebody that he looked up to, somebody that he knows is a legend in the sport, that he knows is the best in this weight class, whether he could beat him tonight or not, and somebody that he knows is going into the Hall of Fame guaranteed. You get a benefit from that. And it's not as though Diego quit. It's not as though Diego checked out. He stayed in there and he fought till the bitter end. He just never was able to quite find the setups and the flow and the rhythm and the spots that his style needed. So it's hard. It's very hard for me to be down in the least on Diego. Now, when you look at Jean Silva, okay, this guy is special. This guy is different, and you can feel it all the way to his walkout. I was in Florida for his last fight. And I will tell you, Jean Silva is the only fighter ever where Ari Emanuel has gotten up, left his chair to go over and congratulate in that moment. In front of people. Ari would wait and do it in the back if he did it at all. We knew something big was going to happen with Jean. We knew in that moment, we knew when Ari went and told him, good job tonight, that something big was coming. But Noche and Lopez at that point was left out. And I did study Jean Silva very closely, particularly that night. And he didn't wear down. I thought with his body that he would. He's in there with Bryce Mitchell. It was tense. There was a lot going on when they got to the ring. It was tense. And Jean used this hell of a walkout where he would have burned up and used a lot of energy. And the entire time when I'm watching him taking on Bryce, I'm waiting for him to fatigue. He's throwing some kicks. There's everything behind these kicks. Every bit of energy he has, boom, into a leg kick. I've seen guys like that. They kick really hard 3 or 4 times. Well, not Jean. Jean Silva was able to kick hard every time. I've seen guys go for big takedowns, and it's a ton of energy. And if you get it, great. And if you can hold the guy there, you can recharge your battery. But if you fail, you're stuck on your feet, which is the place you didn't want to be in the first place, which is what prompted you to take it to the ground. Jean did it, and he didn't fatigue. He didn't get tired of doing it. Jean Silva looked like a 3-round fighter. The way that he's built, his muscle, the way that he is built, he looks like a 3-round fighter. But after seeing him in there with Bryce, it was very clear that this is a 5-round guy. This is just a one-off. This is a guy that got the double blessing. He got the muscle and the cardio. Usually, you get one. Usually. And I'm talking about greats. Guys that'll go on, they'll be MVP of a Super Bowl. They'll go on to be Olympic champion. Like the real greats will have one of the two. They get handed a rare conditioning or they get handed a rare muscle. Gene got them both. And I just think that he's a very interesting fighter. I think he's a fight away from being in there with a world champion. History says if you beat a number one contender, if you beat a former title challenger, you become a number one contender. You become a title challenger. So I can't tell you that DraftKings got this wrong. I can't. And we're in a rare situation where we're bringing one guy in off a win. In fact, the biggest win of his career against an opponent who's coming off a loss. In fact, the biggest loss of his career. Well, how do we get there? How do we put a winner versus a loser? Well, before you use the word loser, that happens to be Diego Lopez, and he had one heck of a streak. Oh, and by the way, it was a world title fight. So we don't necessarily look at him in the loser category. He just did not win the world title. So now you've got this fight, and you think you know what's going on. And you got Jean Silva, minus 300, Diego Lopez, plus 205 at DraftKings right now. That's good action, but I'm bringing that to your attention for one reason. That action is going to move. If you are confident, if you feel a certain way in a fight and you're planning on gaming, when you wager matters. Can we all agree on that? Minus 300 to plus 205. If you're passionate on this fight, that time window to wager for you is right now.